Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Kirby DK here, and today we're doing another shoot the shit, another one. This time it's gonna be on Insurgency Sandstorm and what I think of the game. So, let's get right into it. So to start off, it's a realistic tactical shooter game. It's trying to emulate kind of realism, or how it would be to fight like in a real war, specifically like more the like the Afghanistan Iraqi war of like the mid to early 2000s. The pros of the game is a lot of weapons compared to the original Insurgency. I'm going to be comparing the game a lot to the original one, so get used to that in this review. Everything from Scar H's to MP7s to even more obscure weapons like the TAR 7 are all in this game. I don't think it's called the TAR 7, but it's in the game. They've also added a lot of weapons over time. The game didn't start with this many weapons, but they've updated this game quite a bit, and I gotta give them props for that. The class system in this game, it works very well. It seems like they have learned from the original Insurgency. Instead of having 1 to 2 classes for each, or having like a 1 to 2 limit for each class, they now have like around a 3 to 2 limit on each class, besides the rifleman, which is basically like the very basic class that everyone starts out with and that you should probably learn the game using, but it's not a bad class. Each class plays their role, and they all have a unique gameplay style, and they're all used for different purposes. So let's say the Demolition Man, he's going to be the guy who shoots in a rocket into a room, clears it out for the SMG players to rush in and kill, and basically have a cleanup, right? And you have like snipers, which stay back and kind of pick off people maybe at the flanks, or try to get into a good position to have a sniper duel, or to get into the back lines and kind of wreck people with their pistol. And that's very good for the gameplay. I think that's a good thing. Another thing that this game does well is it has very good audio for a indie title. I don't think this game is actually technically like an indie. I would consider it maybe more of a AA title. It has like 10 developers that work on it or so. It has a very small team, but they are in a studio and they do an amazing job with this game, in my opinion. The audio is very realistic. It sounds like you're in a war. It sounds like there's mortars going off. It sounds like there's fire towards the left of you. You can hear bullets whizzing past you and hitting the wall. It sounds perfect, and that's great. So we're going to get into the neutrals. The game's visuals and the style of the game, the art style, it's very realistic. I would say it kind of has a weird, like, little shiny look to it, which is definitely unique and different from the first game. The first game was very drab, very basic, right? It was very, like, dull. You had kind of browns, grays, greens, stuff like that, tans. Very militaristic game. This game kind of follows suit in that, and it uses a lot of newer tech that has come out, which is really good. It uses the Unreal Engine, and this is going to be the crux for what I'm going to get into with the cons, but the Unreal Engine is both good and great, right? With the Unreal Engine, we've had games like Fortnite, we've had other games that have come out, Unreal Tournament. The Unreal Engine is great whenever Epic Games uses it, but whenever I see it in a game, like before I launch it, or whenever I launch it, I already know the game's either going to be good, but have optimization issues or something like that, or it's going to be complete and utter trash. This game is not complete and utter trash, but it does have issues, and we'll get into that later. The game is very easy for new players because every gun is a 1 to 2 shot kill. SMGs do a little less damage, so they take maybe 2 to 3 shots, But rifles, snipers, LMGs, basically every other gun besides SMGs deal larger amounts of damage and will be 1-shots to 2 depending on if the enemy is wearing heavy armor or light armor, and where you shoot them is also a big thing. So headshots will most definitely 1-shot almost no matter what, and if you hit them in the leg it might be a 3-shot even with a rifle. Another neutral is the maps are very open in this game, and that is both a good and a bad thing. That's why I put it in a neutral. It can be very good if you, let's say, want to snipe, because you can get into a position and kind of look around and have a lot of targets to shoot at. It can also be very bad because you might be running around and you get killed from nowhere, and that's very frustrating. So let's get into the cons of the game. The game has very bad optimization, and this hit me as soon as I booted up the game, and my brother booted up the game as well. We both have 3080 RTX 3080, so this game should be easily runnable for us. We have i9 Intel i9 processors, so that's not an issue, and we both have 32 gigabytes of RAM. And this game has issues running at high at 144 frames, which I don't think it should have a problem doing. And I don't know why it has that, but it does. I also get a lot of stutters while playing. I don't know what it is, but the stutteriness of this game is very bad, and it can mess you up whenever you're in an intense firefight. It seems to be something with a texture streaming issue or some other issue with the Unreal Engine. If I had to guess, they're not as comfortable using the Unreal Engine as they were using Source with the original Insurgency. And overall, it left a bad taste in my mouth whenever I open the game and I have to use multiple cores for my processors, right? That should not be an option that I have to set whenever I open a game. It should automatically realize, oh, your computer has 10 cores and it's an i9 processor? Holy shit. You need to put on multi-core rendering or whatever it's called. I don't know. I'm not big into computer stuff, but it should just be able to recognize that and say, okay, we're going to give you the best experience we can. But it doesn't. Anyways, that was a big rant to get more on track with the gameplay. The mortar strikes, strafe runs, and chopper gunners. Now, from what I understand, how these work is basically you have to have an advisor, which is a class. You pick that class, and then you have a commander, which is another class. The advisor basically picks a point, and then the commander basically has to confirm that he wants to airstrike that, or he wants to mortar strike that. And so it kind of requires a little bit of teamwork, which I'm okay with, but my main problem with this is you can be defending a building perfectly, and let's say, it has an objective in it, because this game is objective based, and all of a sudden, you're kind of next to the building, but you're in an open area, and a mortar just rains down and hits you, right? That is some major bullshit, and it happens in the game. Now, you can tell whenever a mortar strike's going on because you'll hear a bunch of explosions back to back to back, and you can also visually see it because there'll be clouds of smoke, or not smoke, but dirt flying up, and you can kind of see that, which is good. So if a strafe run is going on, or if a mortar strike is going on, you can hear it, which is nice. Chopper gunners are also some bullshit, because I've gotten randomly killed because I didn't understand exactly what it was and what it was doing. I could hear the noise of the propellers, but I didn't exactly cue in on it. I thought it was just, it's background noise in the game, It's something going on, and that's the thing. The audio is so good that I thought, it's just ambient noise going on. And then I just randomly get shot. And then in the little kill cam, it's not really a kill cam, but it shows like where you got killed from, and it'll kind of home in on where the enemy was, and it just zooms into the sky and shows me a chopper gunner that's just moving around, and I'm like, okay, are we playing Call of Duty, or are we playing a realistic military shooter here? just kind of pissed me off a little bit. And, I think it's some bullshit. I think it might tell you whenever there's a chopper gunner coming, or whenever it'll tell you whenever there's a mortar strike coming, but you can't really prepare for it all that much. You can't really do much, right? You can only just run into a building, right? And it's kind of boring gameplay. And on that kind of same note, explosions in the game are very annoying. Smokes are very annoying, and Molotovs are very annoying. Now, they're all annoying for a different reason. Explosions are mostly annoying because the demolition class can have a rocket launcher, C4 or an IED, and grenades, right? And a grenade. So he gets basically three shots to kill someone. And the thing with all these is, like, let's say you're holding a power position in a window that is very good. Well, let's say the enemy team decides, let me pick demolition. Let me get an RPG on there. He peeks the corner with the RPG, shoots it out your window. It flies in, you try to run away, and the explosion hits and you die. Is that fun? I would say not. And that happened in the original Insurgency as well. This is just a problem this game has, and if you don't enjoy that, then I would not recommend buying this game. If you don't enjoy that realism that it brings, you probably won't enjoy it all that much. Now, smoke grenades. The problem I have with these is, if you're running into them, you can't see jack shit. And if you're running out of them, you can't see shit, but your enemy can clearly see you. So, the problem that I have is they're very, inconsistent as well. Sometimes you'll think that, oh, I'm in the smoke, but really, your enemy can completely see you. And other times, you can see perfectly out of a smoke, but your enemy can't. They're overall just very inconsistent and very annoying. And my problem with Molotovs is that I can see the fire, I know where the fire is, but if I get slightly too close to it, I'll get hit by it, just for one tick of damage, which is okay, right? I'm not dead most of the time, but it's annoying because visually you can't see exactly where the Molotov is, and that can be very frustrating. And I guess that's kind of realistic. I mean, you wouldn't want to get too close to fires, but I mean, you wouldn't start getting hurt unless you literally stood in the fire. And in this game, you'll get hurt even though you're not even standing in it. So another big thing, the big maps. So I like how the maps are open, but the problem that I have is there's specifically a really big map. I think it's called Crossing, and I actually played this one in one of the gameplays that I'm showing on screen. And it's the big map, and it has a bunch of rocks. Well, that's very descriptive. A lot of maps have that. It's very grassy. It has a lot of hillside to it. It has a river at one part that goes through the whole map. It's very elevated. There's very many elevated positions for snipers to sit at and pick you off from random areas. And overall, that map, every time I get it, I remember getting it for this gameplay, I was like, oh god, here we go. It's this map. I can't wait to, have to record more gameplay, because I thought I was going to completely get dominated, but I actually, popped off in one part of it, so I got to use it for this video. But that map, I've had so many bad games on it, and overall, I think it'd be fine if they took it out of the rotation. Camping and dying from random spots in this game is going to happen a lot, and if you don't like that, I recommend not buying this game. It's going to happen almost every game, at least once a game, if not 4 to 5 times, It's almost inevitable. And what I mean by that is, you peek a corner and, let's say you have 5 spots to check, and you check 2 of them, and then the guy's in the 3rd spot that you didn't check. And you die. And that's very frustrating. People camp in corners a lot, which happened in the original Insurgency. It's going to happen in this one. I get that. And it's overall very annoying. Visibility in this game is another big issue. I think this might go with me not having the game on high settings because of the fact that the optimization is so bad. I don't know if that's exactly it, but I'm running the game basically on very low to low settings just so I can get 144 frames without having the game stutter a lot. And I mean, I wouldn't have maybe a visibility issue if I had it on high. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't play this game a lot. I haven't played it a lot, but I played the original Insurgency a lot more, and in that game I never had a problem seeing my enemies, and in this game it's a very big problem that I'm having. I don't know if it's maybe just the fact that everyone wears like tan, or like people try to blend in a little more, or people, the maps being bigger and more open. Maybe that's what it is, but overall, I can't see people and I die from random spots. And last but not least, the game feels very sluggish compared to the original. I mean, this is what happens whenever you try to go for a really realistic gameplay style, but you don't use it. You don't create it on the source engine. Using the source engine allowed it to feel more kind of like a Counter-Strike, maybe a little more arcadey, and a little more fluidity to the game was added. This game, on the other hand, is completely the opposite, where it basically tries to feel so realistic it almost feels like Arma, but without having the third-person mode and being more of an arena style with like objectives and stuff. And overall, I just don't think that really makes for a fun game. And yeah, I mean, this game, I'm probably going to have to put more time into it, but so far, I've played around 12-ish hours, and I'm not very impressed by it, so I don't know if I'm going to put more time into it, but it's not very fun, at least at this point. Maybe I needed to put more time into it, learn the maps a little more, and get better, but I think the original Insurgency prepared me for this game, and this game's not very good. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's going to be it for me. It's your boy, KirbyDK10, and I'm out. Peace.